Hello, beautiful souls. Thank you so much for joining me here. I wanted to share more about how yoga awakened me to greater immunity. And so the practice of yoga, a lot of people think of just movement, but really it is the deeper understanding of self. And so we talk about heart, soul, mind, body, the essence of what we are, the connection to that, and that's more what the practice is. That's why it's more than just the movement. You'll notice that breath is a part of a yoga. Meditation can be a part of what yoga practice is. So there's different aspects of yoga, but the meaning of yoga is essentially oneness. So understand our divine oneness. We are divine creators. Our ability to create life, birth things into the world, everything that we see around us is creation. So we are an expression of this. So this understanding of ourselves allows us to understand that greater immunity that is within us. So when we understand divine oneness, we understand the purity of the energy that runs through us is divine health. That is our essence. So when we look at the word immunity, I'm unity, I'm one, which is essentially what yoga means in its essence. Yoga, unity, oneness. Immunity, same thing. It is the awakening to understand the connection to life in a greater way and that greater health and immunity that is within ourselves when we awaken to this. So when I had this awareness, it helped me to realize, like, would I ever see, God or divine as sick? No. Would I see myself as sick? No. I understand that health is within me. I am an expression of that. And so this awakening allowed me to understand things even from not having to catch a cold, right? So this perception of, I'm going to catch a cold. So now you're starting to see this like rise and submergence of cold plunging, right? A lot of people in the winter, in the cold, going into a cold plunge for health benefits. And what this is doing is awakening people to understand that greater health that is within them, not to fear the cold or think that, because it's cold, you're going to catch a cold. These are not understanding that greater awareness or that greater way of seeing things and understanding things from this greater place. We also used to hear, allow your children to go play in the dirt so they can build their immunity. What was allowing people to understand is not to fear the dirt. We are one with the dirt, is part of us. We are connected to nature in such a beautiful way. And so we understand that is health as well. Like we can be in dirt and not fear those things. Those are part of us. We are one with these things. So then we awaken to understand that health is within us. We are that. And so this awareness allowed me to understand, okay, then that health is always within me. I don't have to get sick. This doesn't have to be the normal. And I know sometimes when people hear these things or see these things, they feel that this is just part of life. But that doesn't have to be the case when you have this greater awareness and understanding. You understand that greater health is within us, that immunity is within us. Right, the beauty of the energy that runs through us, that vibrance and vitality that gives us life, that allows us to create life, like the beauty of what we are. And that is what yoga is, that understanding of this in a greater way. So we feel that within ourselves, greater health, greater vibrance, greater vitality. And this is one way, like I talked about in a previous video, how I got rid of my allergies, was this understanding of this, that oneness with things. The same energy that is within us is in all of life. Why would you ever have a reaction to something when you understand the oneness with it? So this video will bring about the immunity aspect of it, but it's that deeper understanding of self and understanding that greater health and immunity that's within us. And for me, since I had this awareness and this connection to feel this, right? And through yoga, we do these practices of breath work. And so what this allows us to do is to connect to feeling that energy and working with the energy within us in a greater way. So we can feel how we can consciously feel the energy moving through us, how we can feel that vibrance. We do this through movement. We do this through breathing. We do this by expanding. And I talked about this, like expanding beyond the body, feeling more of our soul and our essence, right? We're so much more than just the physical, and we start to connect to feel this in a greater way, and the beauty of this. So we feel more expansive, we feel more connected, we understand ourselves in a deeper way. And this is the beauty of what yoga is. It's that deeper connection to an understanding of self so that we awaken, and they term enlightenment. So we awaken to understand ourselves in a greater way and experience life in a greater way. And this greater health is one way that we do this, right? We understand that health is within us. We get the connection. We talk about love, right? How we honor ourselves, how we feel. So the beauty of this understanding. So I wanted to share this so that this greater awareness is brought forward, is awakened, to understand, not to fear the cold, to understand that we can feel one in the cold. And I've had these experiences through this where, we can experience the cold in a greater way, where we can literally feel one in it and have this greater relationship with the cold. So we don't experience it as cold. We feel, wow, I can actually feel warm in the cold. But this also relates to the heat. So if you notice, maybe you're not a fan of the heat, how, again, we can start to feel more regulated in the elements, to feel more one in them. And so it's beautiful because we can start to feel a greater connection in the elements and how we feel within our bodies. But again, I get the biggest point that I'm making is that greater understanding of that immunity that is within us. And I've done this with other aspects when it comes to, no longer reacting to onions when I'm cutting onions. So understanding this greater oneness allows us to, again, have a greater relationship with things. And I'll share more about, different experiences through yoga that have awakened me to understand and experience life in a greater way, and to understand, again, more of ourselves. And that is what yoga is. So I just want to come on here and share. This is part of what I share in my course, is that greater understanding of self and yoga. And then through movement, we connect and expand and deepen and feel more open in our bodies, mobility, flexibility. And so that is part of, how we feel in our bodies, how we connect to the energy, how we consciously work with the energy in our body, and that the beauty of that connection. So this is just aspect of the essence of what yoga is that understanding of self. And so from there, we can connect to these ways of connecting to ourselves in a deeper way and understanding ourselves, but the beauty of what this awakens and helps us to understand in a greater way. So immunity, I am one, I am divine health that is within me. So even like for people who get runny noses, like when I start to understand this, and I could just start to feel the energy clear that, right? So it's like sickness is not even how I see myself. Like that's not a norm. Health is my norm. Immunity is my norm. That is what I am. That is my essence. And so that we don't believe that has to be an occurrence for us. We awaken to understand that greater health that is within us, that our bodies are in harmony, that we can feel this greater flow of energy move through us. Like there's so much that we connect to through the practices. And so this awareness brings forward, that understanding of ourselves in a deeper way and awakening to feel this in a greater way. And these practices are just one way that we do this. So I'm honored to come on here and share. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to reach out. And if you'd like more, you can register to join our program or course. But I'm honored to come and share more about awakening greater health and immunity and vibrance and youthfulness that is within us and the beauty of this. Much love, guys.